asking the question.
Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of CMCT. Change your mind, change your thinking. I am your host, Troy Skinner. Next to me is seated my co-host, my partner in crime that we don't do.
We never do crime.
The man that can stand against anything and everything.
Tony O'Dean.
Welcome to our 50th show, guys. We are celebrating our 50th show tonight. Thank you for everybody that continuously supports us and tunes in and want to hear what we got to talk about. Because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to say some stuff.
We're always saying stuff.
Saying stuff is what I do.
It's whether or not they agree with us or they take it as entertainment. Because in the end, that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's my whole point, is to be entertaining. I'm not trying to get you niggas to act right. God damn it.
So again, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to our show. It is our 50th episode. We appreciate everyone. We are halfway through to 100, man.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate everybody that tunes in to hear what we got to say and to be a part of it. Everybody showing some love. So yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Podcast anniversary.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So again, Thursday is our pop culture night, but tonight we will be starting the show off recapping what we went over on Monday and following up and finishing off what we wanted to say. This is our last show that we will be doing directly on Instagram.
I wanted to talk about
Yes. What do you want to say? Okay. We will be talking about that in private. But anyway, we will be migrating over. We will be migrating over to.
We'll be continuing the show.
Yeah.
Online.
We will be migrating over to YouTube completely starting next week. So look forward to what we have to talk about. I think one of our episodes for next Tuesday will be about dating. Absolutely. We will be talking about dating and how dating has become affected because of the world today.
It's women's fault.
White
women's fault.
And the environment and what's going on in regards to 68% or 65%? What was the article? It said 65%.
I think it said 68.
68% of men are no longer dating. That's crazy, man. That's wild.
They're dating, they're not courting.
I don't know. They said the article said dating.
Said they was getting some ass.
That's what we need to talk about. You see, so we can get that clarity.
Basically, we're turning into Japan.
Yeah, in a sense.
We're turning into Japanese men in America.
Yeah. So that's kind of what our episode is going to be about. If you have any questions tonight and on our future shows, you're definitely welcome to DM us and to chime in and to also hit us on our platforms. And if you want to be seen or just want to be heard, you can do that at any time. We welcome that, and we appreciate anybody that takes part of that. So we are...
There it goes.
At the point of raffling off this safe, and you guys still have chances to get some of these tickets.
5 more days.
To get these tickets, yeah.
5 more days, that's it.
To get these tickets.
5 more days, and that's it.
Yeah. So we got the person coming to pick up the safe to find out exactly how it's going to be shipped and where it's going to be shipped. Once we pull to figure out who has won this beautiful safe. Again, it's part of the show. It is an EL310 safe. I'm going to that right now. And it is a fire-resistant home and document safe. It's a 2-hour fire resistance, means that the internal temperature will reach up to 350 degrees. If the safe is in a fire for 2 hours at 1,875 degree max external temperature. It has easy programming, 4 AA batteries external, and will retain your code if the batteries die or are changed out. If you want to be a part of what we have going on with this safe, or if you feel the need to support us in any given way, financially would be nice, you are welcome to go to our Linktree page, and this is exactly where you will be able to find these tickets, raffle tickets, and donate to us. All right, you go to our Linktree page. Okay, and here at the top it says tip for raffle tickets. You go there, click on that, scroll down a little bit. You'll see that we have several different pricing charts in order to be able to figure out what you would like to get as far as tickets are concerned. We are raffling off a brand new $750 Stillwater safe. Please leave your contact information in the comment when you pay. The ticket options are $5 for 1 ticket, $10 for 3 tickets, $20 for 7 tickets, $50 for 20 tickets, and $100 for 50 tickets. We've had a couple of people grab those. So you want to make sure you get as many tickets as necessary to have as many opportunities to win this safe. And if you just want to send us special requests or Cash App us or Venmo us or join our Patreon, all of our videos on YouTube. We see every way of contacting us is here, Instagram. You can find us on YouTube if you haven't already subscribed at CMCT_show. Go there now and subscribe to us, or else you may not be able to get all the great shows that we have coming up. We are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, and we are on Twitter as well. So, with that being said, we're going to move into our segment of our show. But again, congratulate us on the 50th show. 50 shows, man, of CMCT.
We forgot to do hats and shit, you know. But on the 100th show.
On the 100th show, we're looking forward to that. We're going to do something really big.
Glow,
tigers, elephants.
Yeah, we're going to do the whole thing.
Koala bears.
We're going to get all the endangered animals in here.
Yeah. What do you call them, sloths?
Yeah. We should get some reptiles in here and set them all under this light that's not very hot. And whoever makes it, you know, we'll let them back out into the wild so they can restore their life force. The other ones die, and that's it.
Yeah.
So y'all be ready for that. It's going to be a good show.
So again, if you're on YouTube, you can subscribe, like, and share our content. And
shout out Peter.
Peter, shout out to Peter. We are very grateful to any and everybody that supports us. Big shout out to our day one Lady Muse. Whether you're watching us or not tonight, I know she's got a lot of drama going on in drama school. So we appreciate you, Lady Muse. Big shout out to Joan Moulton and also to Claudia if you guys are watching. We appreciate you, Scott. Somewhere out there in the ethos. Maybe you're in the gym, not sure, but thank you for supporting us, guys. And yeah, we look forward to the next 50 shows that we're going to be having. But tonight, we're talking about man, baby.
Yep.
What is it to be a man? Looking like a man, baby. Looking like a man. What is it to be a man? What is a man? What is a man? And on Monday, we gave the definition of masculinity, which kind of precludes to that. And then we also went into some discussion about specific things in regards to masculinity. And we also broke down the myth that is toxic masculinity.
Correct. And
who created that. Tonight, we are going to go more into detail about men in public, you know? Men in dealing with violence, men dealing with the public aspect of what it is to be seen as a man and how do we interact as men.
Right.
Again, as our show is, how our format is, you know, we talk in the perspective of the black community, but we're just talking in generalization tonight. But we also definitely want to give
focus
a little,
on our people.
Yeah, you know, give some more understanding, clarity about that. So, with that being said, right now, one of the main things that's going on in the news.
Well, real quick, if I may.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please,
you know
please do. Please do. Please do.
Rest in peace, my granny. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in peace.
Loved her to death, man. She would have loved our platform, and you know, she was an activist her whole life, and she really cared about our community. Rest in peace to my grandmother, Rodessa Stinger, and
what a name! Wow.
Yeah.
Rodessa Stinger.
Rodessa Stinger.
That's dope.
Yeah. But no joke. Gert was her model name was Gertie Ruth. she was a fighter physically and you know, just socially. Man. Really cared about our plight.
Yeah, plight.
She cared about our plight.
Mm.
So rest in peace to Gert.
Rest in peace, Gertie.
All right.
Hey Scott, we just mentioned you.
Welcome in, Scott.
Welcome in. All right, so in the news right now, perfect timing. Dealing with Chris Rock and the slap from Will Smith a year ago. That happened on center stage, international center stage, around the world, literally. This was something that happened that everybody witnessed, whether live and or after the fact, because, you know, everything is caught on tape nowadays. So you can't get away.
It ain't caught on tape.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like you get caught not being on tape nowadays. If you ain't on tape, you were caught.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know.
But Chris Rock waited a year to put his show together and to come back in regards to his response to what happened. And I respect that because a lot of people were on him about what is he going to say? You know, I mean, his brother spoke, his mom spoke, but he hadn't really said anything.
Tony Rock got real gangster, didn't he?
He did. And the mom was very real about it because no mom wants to see her child be abused, man, physically
just
or
castrated
assaulted.
publicly, man.
Yeah.
That was a public castration.
Yeah.
You could look at it as, you know, in a sense, he was a pretty upstanding man to have held his composure and have bearing in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same sense, his manhood is packed, right? So there's a lot of different variables there that brings about sort of imbalance, you could say. You know, so we'll dig into talking about that.
Yeah. So Chris Rock has done a Netflix special. He did some stand up.
It's called people say. God damn, what the hell is the name of it?
If you scroll down, I'm pretty sure the name of it is there. Yeah.
Selective Outrage is the name of it.
Yes.
That's the name of his stand-up. It's on Netflix. If you're not a little girl, you should go watch it. Really good stand-up. It'll be a little offensive tonight, you know, for those who will cry.
Well, Chris Rock has always been an offensive comedian, just like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like they've never
go back as far as you want to go.
Yeah.
Try Dolomite.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm just speaking on them. I mean, even when you look at the BET comedy and the HBO comedy specials.
Well, it was always funny when it was, you know, directly shitting on black people back in the day, but typically it was only on our own media. And now that, much like music, a lot of our stars, or much like in music, a lot of our stars are transcending and, you know, bleeding over into other communities as far as interest goes. Now we have to have limitations. He shouldn't say that. He shouldn't do this, right? And even more so, more direct to comedians, they want to hush comedians. This is the last bit of actual freedom speech that we have in America that's present. You know,
we as a community, you know, a lot of men have become beta. They have become very soft in how they respond to things. You know, you listen for a lot of men to listen to the predominant movement of, you know, it's okay to show your emotions as a man. You know, you should show your emotions, and you should have no problem with saying exactly how you feel. Men do not get that same excuse that women get.
Well, it's never benefited men in history to be welcome in. It's never benefited men in history at all to be emotional. You show me a point in time in history where it's benefited men to fully divulge their emotions the way that women do. We're not the same. And that's really one of the bigger issues, and that's why we chose the title of the show is What is a Man? Because men and women are not the same in this world.
That's right.
And now they want the term man and the term woman to be ambiguous. And there is no ambiguity between men and women.
Mm-hmm.
We're very different.
Mm-hmm.
Said it last show. We complement one another. COMPLEMENT. We complement one another.
Mm-hmm.
That means that we complete one another,
Mm-hmm.
right? You make up for, not you, literally.
Mm-hmm. No,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Pause.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the woman
Mm-hmm.
makes up for what the man is lacking, and the man makes up for what the woman is lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so, the woman is strong in areas where a man is not, and a man is strong in areas where a woman is not.
And that's okay.
It's completely okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's divine, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It is the order. It's in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are plenty of one-off examples of, different species and insects and things that don't quite fit into that, that paradigm. But majority rule.
Mm-hmm.
Men and women complement one another. We support one another. We're supposed to take care of one another, right?
Mm-hmm. So when you have two people fighting for leadership position, or you have two people fighting and they're confused on what should be happening in their relationship, thus you have what's going on in the world, the high rate of divorce, single motherhood, um, young men growing up looking for mentorship because they don't have that at home. You see, daughters not knowing what type of men they should date because they don't have that at home.
Right. They're not being taught discernment. They don't have an example of what a capable man looks like, of what a stable man looks like. A stern man. The same, in reverse for men and type of women that they choose to deal with typically.
So let's get into this because, the reason why we're going to start off with the Chris Rock, Will Smith, I call it the debacle, is because we didn't get to it on Monday. But at the same time, man, the boards on Facebook and Instagram are lighting up about, people's opinion about, he deserved it. Chris Rock, this show is horrible, and poor Will Smith, and first off, let me explain to you on my side on what I feel about it before we even get into the article.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody that says that Chris Rock deserve it, you're not putting yourself in his. Yeah, you deserve to be attacked if you feel like he deserved to be slapped, because people don't realize what a real slap can do. The slap that he gave him was one of them old school slaps. It was to embarrass him. It was like, in a sense, to shut up.
He wanted to castrate him.
Yeah. It wasn't enough to knock him out and hurt him, but it millions of people all over the world are watching this, man. Yeah. The most prestigious, you don't get more prestigious than the Oscars.
In white Hollywood.
And even in, black people, because black people hold it up to such a standard. I could care less. I can care less. You can care less. I can care less. But to them, that's the epicenter of greatness. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he got an Oscar,
It means something.
It means something. And because, a lot of black people are always looking for white validation. So,
absolutely.
Everybody dressed up is prestigious. Other than
supposed to be on your best behavior.
Yeah, other than the president inauguration, because that's something else that people look up to. It don't get any more prestigious than that. And this man walk up on the stage and slap this man in the face because of something he said.
And in a controlled environment.
Right.
A professional environment to another professional.
Right.
On national television where the world is watching.
Right. You don't have bill problems. You don't have those problems. You so paid that you don't have those problems that, everybody's like, everything that him and his family go through, the ridicule, the attention, you chose that.
Yep. Y'all niggas have an entire show, or at least your wife does, and you've obliged. They on there talking about how weak he is in the bedroom.
How much she still love Tupac.
A dead nigga who, you know what I'm saying?
How your daughter wrote a letter wishing that Tupac was still here.
Bro. And I hope they quoted in here what he said.
I'm pretty sure they did, because it was perfect.
It beautifully explains the entire situation. He said, everybody thinks that I should be more upset with Will Smith and I should be looking for some sort of recompense, but you know something? She hurt him more than I could ever hurt him.
That's true. That's true.
She talked about, she interviewed him about her affair with another person against him
In his home.
on television. I
Mm-hmm.
could never hurt Will Smith that bad.
No,
He could never have hurt me that bad.
no. So with that respect, it's a thing to hear cats, and the reason why we're talking about this is because it tells you a lot about how men respond to this. You know, the guys that go, yeah, he deserved to get hit. That man, he assaulted that man's wife by what he said. He assaulted her. And we got to, as a man, you got to protect your own. That to me is false. That's false. False.
It's the same thing as there was a story that we had covered a while back. The young man who got killed in that fast food restaurant for trying to defend something about his mom getting the wrong order.
French fries. He got killed over
because her French fries were cold.
Yep.
And his mom wanted him to go back in there and defend her honor and act a fool over fucking French fries.
Mm-hmm.
Now take away the titles. A woman expected a man to go and lose his fucking life to risk his freedom over some fucking French fries. And then now we add the titles back to really allow the reality to hit home. That young man lost his life, his future.
Mm-hmm.
That mother lost her son because of her emotions in that moment.
Mm-hmm. And his emotions of the pressure of him feeling, yes, because see what y'all got
supposed to do for women,
right? And that's kind of what we're talking about tonight. It's like, okay, so what is a man? But then what is a man's duties? And so when you start to look at what the pressure is that a lot of these men, on one hand, they're saying, show your emotions. On another hand, you're supposed to stand up and protect the family and stand up and protect the honor.
A man's duty is protection.
Right. Now let's define that. Let's define that.
Before we even define it, before protection comes discernment.
Okay. That's wisdom, discernment.
You don't get discernment from women. A woman does not teach a young man discernment. She doesn't teach him focus. She doesn't give him actual discipline. She can't offer him the guidance of a man. She can't tell him the actual value of life, peace, of order among men.
Because she sees it differently. I
know not to walk in here and spit on your fucking shoe. Or I know that in this building that we're sharing, I don't come in here and just go, you know what, I'm a remodel the whole shit and just, he'll figure it out when he gets here. He'll see it. Because now we got a conversation to have. Right? I can't just have hookers and blow up in here and then you show up one day and nigga, what the fuck is going on? I know not to do that. Not just because obviously it's wrong, but at least to good men, obviously that's wrong. That would be disrespectful to another man. And potentially, nigga, we could be up in here on some gladiator shit.
Let me clarify to you guys, because I've spent a lot of my years in Hollywood and I understand the whole aspect of sitting in the front row in a comedian show. I've seen people get roasted to the point of tears at a comedian show. And that's that right of that comedian, because if you are sitting in the front row, you're expecting the attention that comes with sitting in the front row. At the Oscars, it is pretty much an event for those people at that event. We're just peeking in on it. We are voyeuristically peeking in on what very, very true, K. Yeah, K-Dash, yeah, we are peeking in voyeuristically on that night that matters to them more than anything. And that's why people get their enjoyment from it. And one of the things that is, comedians will go in on the front row. They'll talk about everybody that's nominated.
D.L. Hughley, that was always his thing. That's his opener and his closer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so nobody is beyond reproach. Nobody is beyond a joke at the Oscars. And so this whole alopecia thing, this whole, Chris Rock has always had it out for her. And I heard something really crazy.
It's supposed to be as far back as 93.
Yeah, he wanted her or something like that. And I'm like, do you guys honestly believe this man?
This nigga done been married with kids, rich, could have damn near any pussy he wants just because he's a rich nigga.
Yeah. Yeah, and he talks about it in his show actually too. You know, we'll single out Jada Pinkett of all people and have to say a joke, which is actually a compliment to her because G.I. Jane, when I grew up, was a dope person. You know, it was a woman who was strong enough to go against
the
norm.
norm.
Yeah,
To make y'all equal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Equal as y'all want to be.
Yeah, so you know, a lot of women shave. You know, women shave the side of their head all the time nowadays. You see that in movies and shows, and that's their form of independence. They dye their hair blue. They shave one side.
And a reminder that Eric just gave us: Will Smith was laughing at first.
Yeah,
he was laughing.
Until
it was a genuine laugh.
It was because it was like, okay, G.I. Jane, all right, cool.
They're both comedians.
Yeah, there was nothing behind it that was to destroy the way some of y'all make it seem.
Wasn't to disrespect her or put actual smut on her name or expose something about her that wasn't observable reality.
Right. So, with that being said, you know, we got these people who are saying that this man deserved a slap, which is an assault. And I'm a little bit more when it comes to me, I'm a little bit more petty. Now, first off, who I am, he wouldn't even got close enough to hit me, you know. And more than likely, he wouldn't even conceived of going up there and doing something like that against somebody else.
Well, let's talk about the people's nerve to say that he deserved to get slapped.
Right.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
This person who told a joke, not just a person, a comedian, which his profession is to be funny. The joke, that's his profession. He deserved to get hit for doing what he was hired to do that night. Understand, violence and physicality is not just this whimsical fucking thing.
Right. And a lot of men have fallen into that ideology because they see women doing it and thinking that it's cool. You know, I grew up in an environment of, you know, watching people think that it's so cool, and they don't understand the ramifications of it.
A lot of men today, man, they're not, because again, they're not being led by other men. Unfortunately, they forget that our existence is physicality. Again, there's a reason why, other than, you know, the obvious, I'm not a fucking moron. There's a reason why niggas like me and E don't come in here and, hey, seafood, we got nigga, we bitches and it's coke. We doing a thing in here, man. You want some? Why would we do that? Why would we disrespect another man to the point of, you might be angry. You might not only be angry, you might say, you know what? There has to be some physicality behind this. I got to slap some sense into these dudes, literally. Men don't aggravate one another within reason to the point of someone has to get harmed. One of us has to get hurt.
Yeah, because we understand the consequences.
We understand the consequence. We understand the value of life. The value of health. Come on, man.
Yep. So welcome in. It's K-Dash. Welcome in, Field Wayne. Yeah, welcome in, guys. Chime in on this if you want. He said, can't protect anyone that don't listen. A lot of women don't see the man as leaders. Wow. Okay, very true. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? What's going on out there so far? What do you guys feel about what we're saying? Because I want to get both sides. I mean, I've been. He and I was talking about it before the show. We're reading cats online, typing up. They typing up like, yeah, you know, he deserved to get slapped. You know, he threatened us. You know,
he should have got hit.
Yeah,
you know, you have freedom of speech, but. You know, freedom of speech doesn't absolve you from the consequences of what you said.
Yeah, talking about some man's wife.
Well, what if he talked about his kids and all of that? Don't keep it within the realms of the actual reality of freedom of speech. Right? You try to add emotional triggers and all of these things to something that really was so simple. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Whatever happened to that? Especially from somebody who's not a threat.
Single parenthood. Don't let him say that to you. You gonna let him say that to me? You know, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me explain something to you guys. If you know anything about fighting words, okay, a lot of y'all need to, you know, you go out and you get these little legal terms to deal with being pulled over, but you don't understand that what physical violence is in the depth of what it is when you're assaulted. Fighting words is still on the docket. Okay, that's something you can look up. When you're assaulted physically, there's two forms of legal things that can happen, legal action. One is civil, and then the other one is criminal. Anytime you assault someone, you put your hands on someone, you spit on someone, that is a criminal assault. That is a criminal infraction. Civil is financial. And so Chris Rock, which, like I said, I'm petty. I would have, you know, if I don't have the skill that I have as a man,
Right.
but I'm Chris Rock. First off, he's getting arrested.
Pressing charges.
I'm pressing charges. Number one, that's you hit me. Millions of people just saw it. No one's gonna stop me from pursuing your spending some prison time or dealing with whatever it comes with that action.
You have to face the consequences of your action.
Absolutely. Second off, I'm getting every dime I can get from you.
Agreed.
Every dime. I'm going through the legal system in a way to where you're going to wish you never did that. You see? Because I don't think that was any consequence from him.
No.
You see?
He knew that he would get away with it.
Yeah. And that's why he did it. My boy says, K-Dash says, we've been taught that physical reactions to words is staying solid, but really it's the inability to control emotions.
Yeah, you have no bearing.
Mm-hmm.
You lack discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You lack discernment.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's that and that. But let's get to what Chris has said, because I think it's very interesting that this is all happening and that people have those opinions during the time we're talking about what it is to be a man.
So, the fury of Chris Rock. In a new Netflix special, the comedian finally let loose about Will Smith. The moment was fascinating, angry, and raw.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with the angry part.
That's probably where we're split. At the end, the last 15 minutes,
You think Chris Rock was angry?
At the last 15 minutes, he was like, this is how I truly felt from that night. The last 15 minutes. But the rest of the show, no, he was just spitting like he normally spits. The last 15 minutes, I felt it in my soul.
You think it was anger, though?
I don't think it was
some passion.
Yeah, it was like, yo, like, are you guys serious? Like, it was, to me, it was a message to the world, like, because
that's what I'm saying about not angry at Will Smith.
No. Yeah, just angry at the indignation.
The reception of it.
Yeah, that people feel like Will Smith was justified in what he did. Yeah. And like, cause it angers me to hear my black brothers or cats. Like I've had to correct dudes.
Likewise.
You're right. Before the show.
I'm in a Facebook battle right now.
Yeah.
When we get done with the show.
It's like, are y'all serious? Like, you know, let alone a black man hitting another black man in the public eye.
In the public
eye. We got enough of that.
Stop
as it is.
Handling our affairs publicly.
Yeah. You know, anything to make matters worse. You know, you got to do what you got to do. That's one thing. But he didn't have to do this.
No.
You know,
his wife wasn't in danger. He wasn't in danger. No reputation was in danger.
Right. And to hear the beta males and these women talk about he had to protect the black woman need to be protected. He had to stand up and protect her honor. She was not in danger at all. So that's why I feel like that last 15 minutes, he said, I'm going to really give this. Like, I'm going to give this because I don't think people realize what this man experienced. And let me explain. Okay, real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. We'll get to it. We'll get time.
You know, a lot of people, you've never been victimized. You don't know what that is. You don't know what it is for someone to hold you down and to hit you.
Well, violence.
Right.
To experience violence. Humans naturally, yes, we enjoy watching violence. There's that other side of us. But to actually be a part of it, where there may be consequence, where it may be coming at us, no, we don't want that. Most people don't want to fight.
Right.
That's why people will get loud
Yeah.
and riled up
Yeah.
and bumping chests
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
of that shit.
It's like in
But they
the
do that
kingdom. Yeah.
because all of these other people around us might pull us apart.
That's what they want.
No one is actually holding us to this charge of what it is that we're claiming right now in this moment. I would have fucked that bitch up. That nigga wouldn't have been talking to me like that. 'Cause
Right.
I know what I would have.
Yeah. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You don't. You weren't trained for that. You've never been. Most majority of humans, man or woman, have never even been in an actual altercation.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've never been in actual danger of another person
Harming them.
choosing to truly do what they want to do to them at any given moment. Maybe in childhood, you know, we all experience some unfortunate
But that's even
shit.
but that's emotional as well. Like kids lose their temper and they fight.
I was talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
you know,
yeah, of
I
course.
didn't want to
Right.
bring that up.
Of course, yeah.
But, you know, to the point of I'm ready to go right now, let's actually do it. Most people back down.
Yeah, damn the
Gets
consequence.
diffused.
Damn the consequence.
Yeah.
If I flip you on your head and you die, and you know, yeah, I'm willing to go to prison for 20 years for manslaughter. Fuck you.
Now to that, an even bigger problem is because people feel like they have a platform. They feel like they have the floor and their opinion and their feelings on something matters. Now we got these videos of women having the audacity to get angry in an establishment because they gave me my drink with ice and I said no ice.
I'm gonna jump over the counter.
You got me fucked up,
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah.
Let me jump over the counter
Yeah.
and teach you a lesson about serving me my food wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
People brawling in these restaurants, going crazy in these stores, and that airline situation. Bitch, you're on federal fucking property. That's federal time. But no, because they had me fucked up.
Right.
I'm gonna do what I want to do right now. That's what we're seeing from our people on social media, on television, and in the news, and all of this different shit. Where does that nerve come from?
Yeah.
It's a misunderstanding and disconnect from what physicality actually is. There's no consequences associated with those things for people because it's something that they've never experienced, something that they've never been educated on. You know? So then we get situations. Chris Rock, Will Smith, he deserved it. He should have fucked him up. He lucky it didn't go further than that.
It's crazy.
What are you talking about?
It's crazy.
What are these people talking about? Who here wants to get? I ask my students every week when I'm teaching them to block constantly.
Right.
You know why? I don't even have to explain that. Why aren't you blocking? Do you want to get hit? Do you want to get? I go down the line. Do you want to get hit? Well, why don't you want to get hit? Why would I want to get hit? That's my point. Block. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about here? I'm not teaching y'all to come in here every day and hurt each other. I'm teaching you what it means to decide that getting hurt, putting myself in a precarious position that might incur violence,
not the option. Yeah.
Probably doesn't make sense. It's probably a waste of my time and the other person. It could cost both of us time, prison. It's important to understand that. Y'all got to stop with this incitement of violence that you don't even understand.
Yeah, man.
You've never experienced it. You don't mean it. And you know you don't mean it. Just because there's a camera, you might get y'all look on the video and all of that stupid shit. What happens when you come across your match? We all have a maker. We know that. We all have a maker. What happens then? And what happens if in that situation, because you felt you were justified?
felt.
He said the wrong shit to me, nigga. You should have.
Yeah, came at me sideways.
Well, now what if when they're finished with you, they decide that's not enough?
Want to take it further.
Now, what about your family? If you have kids or if you have a spouse or maybe you have a friend who just happened to be there and they were smart enough to say, oh, I'm cool. I don't want none of that. But nah, you was here too. Now what?
Understand this. There are three things that off balances a man. One is physical. When you're injured, as a man, so you think about getting into an altercation and all of a sudden you're injured from that. That will off balance you, being injured. The second thing is finances. You don't have a job or you don't have any funds. That off balances you. And the third is impotence. Impotence can be impotence in many ways, not just impotence physically in between your legs, but impotence mentally, impotence spiritually, meaning that you're lacking in some regard. You as a man have to realize that those three things can off balance you at any time, which is why emotions doesn't have a place in that, because you got to get through it. You got to figure things out. And if you feel like somebody's emotionally off balancing you and your first response is to start swinging, you at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys in prison right now because they were stepping up for their woman's honor or their family's honor. You know, they went and beat up on some guy because maybe that guy said something about their sister. Yeah.
My wife said X.
And you don't really know all the whole story either. They tell you what they need you to know. They don't tell you what really happened. You know, and you see it a lot, man. Welcome in, guys. Hey, Xavier, how you doing? What's up?
Welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get to this.
Let's knock this out. We already. But it's a good show.
It is. Yeah.
Happy 50th.
Happy 50th.
You didn't know, it's our 50th show.
Yes, welcome. Later Muse came in late, but yeah, we gave you a day one pass for sure. Yes, we love you, girl.
So, if the Academy Awards were pre-taped, the public would never have seen Will Smith slap Chris Rock last year.
True.
Sure, the incident would be known about and reported on, but the bizarre, disquieting electricity of that moment came from it happening live on a worldwide broadcast during a meticulously choreographed event. Ever since then, the question has been how Rock would officially respond. Would he drop by a talk show and throw some Barb Smith's way? Would he take the high road and ignore it? No. Rock is a stand-up comedian by trade, practiced in the realm of unplanned moments, so the most natural way for him to slap back during a real-time broadcast of his own.
Great writing.
That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. We'll find another one.
We'll find something else. Is this worth? Does it stop at? We'll see. Indeed, the most fascinating aspect of Rock's new special, Selective Outrage, was the fact that it aired live on Netflix Saturday night, an attempt to tap into the immediacy of onstage comedy in a time when audiences can choose their evening's entertainment from a hefty menu. A new special from Rock is always an intriguing option, but Selective Outrage had a far juicier hook. Is he finally going to talk about Will Smith? After months of stand-up shows where Rock had to disclaim to his audience that the subject wouldn't come up, then months more of rumors that he was finally workshopping material about the incident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna.
All right, so we're going to find another article because whoever this writer was doing, he was doing really good.
Continue that. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can get in there, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, so far, what we're talking about, thank you, Scott. Yeah, we appreciate you, man, for always being a part of that. What's going on, Emmett? How you doing? How you doing, Henry? What's going on?
Yeah, these niggas talking.
They want to get paid, huh? That's why the writing's so good.
Right. I ain't mad. It was a good article.
Yeah. Well, let's get the facts. The fact is that it was a live show, number one. And I don't know if that had anything to do with, okay, well, I was assaulted live, so I'm going to get it in on them live. You know what I'm saying? Which would have been really, really cool. The other thing is that it's a year to the time of the prior incident. Okay. The other thing is that the Will Smith situation wasn't spoken about until like the last 15 minutes of the show.
Right.
Where he went in and he goes in. Why is it that we have such a split? Let's get to the understanding of that. Why is it that we have such a split where, it always starts with people go, I never liked Chris Rock. Well, let me explain something to you. I'm not a Chris Rock fan either. You know what I mean? I appreciate the work that he's done throughout the years, but he's not the first person that I go to make me laugh, but I respect his work and what he's done in order to get where he's got in his career. So if I was an actor sitting there and he started coming in on me, I'm in the front row. That's the heat that comes with that. I got friends who are comedians right now in LA. That's their job, especially if somebody comes out their face in the middle of a joke to heckle or to cause attention to themselves. Okay.
Go ahead. I just seen a headline.
Oh, did they? Oh, well, yeah. He had made. Remember, he had made a joke and it didn't go right because he was talking about emancipation.
He did say where he fucked
he was talking about emancipation. It was supposed to be
I'm thinking
concussion.
they took it out because of.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that ain't going nowhere.
Damn.
All right, but I think let's go there.
Sure.
Let's do that. Okay, so now, look, we're catching up. So now lately in the news, what's been going on is that Will Smith thinks that what happened, the audacity, the hypocrisy, the irony. Will Smith lately has been thinking that what Chris Rock said was distasteful, and he's embarrassed and he's hurt.
And he should be. Selective outrage.
Selective, yeah, just pretty much says exactly what Chris Rock was talking about.
That nigga should be happy he's not hadn't faced jail time, or did he get some sort of fine or anything? Excuse me.
He should have been escorted out of the building.
I would have.
If it was one of us, they would have.
Yeah, if that was my event, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no way in hell.
Yeah.
You got to go.
And he sat there through the rest of it and chilled. Untouched.
Well, he defended a black woman.
Yeah.
Will Smith thinks Chris Rock's distasteful comedy special was below the belt. He's embarrassed and hurt.
Fuck you.
I'm hurt for him too. Moving on, Will Smith reacted to Chris Rock's selective outrage comedy special. The comedian spoke out for the first time in extensive detail about the Oscar slap. Why they put that in in capitals?
That's pretty much what they call it now.
It's an actual event in history.
Yeah.
About the Oscars slap of 2022 that will go down in history forever. Will and Chris's incident occurred live at the 94th Annual Academy Awards ceremony on March 27, 2022, when the Saturday Night Live alum made a distasteful joke about Smith's wife.
Yeah,
here we go. Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see you. Rock said, in part, making a comparison between Jada's shaved head and actress Demi Moore's buzz cut in the 1997 movie G.I. Jane. Jada, for her part, has gone public with her years-long struggle with alopecia, an autoimmune disorder that attacks hair follicles and can result in hair loss and balding. She was visibly upset at Chris's comment, rolling her eyes from her seat as he defended the joke. Did he defend it? Oh, he said, I love you.
Yeah, he's like, it's a joke.
Will then stepped on stage to slap the comedian. Although the live broadcast quickly began to censor the exchange between Will and Chris, uncensored footage that aired internationally revealed what was really said between the actors. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me, Chris said in disbelief. From afar, Will could be heard yelling at the comedian to not speak about Jada. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, he screamed twice. Though the King Richard actor publicly apologized, the two are still not on amicable terms, and Chris aired out the drama in his new Netflix special. So what was Will Smith's reaction to Chris Rock's selective outrage? They made it a two-part article? Interesting. Anyway, according to several sources, not that well. Will is embarrassed and hurt by what Chris said about him and his family in his Netflix special. He didn't watch it, but he had people tell him what Chris said. A source told ET. It's everywhere when you look online and on social media, so Will and Jada have seen comments about it.
Now, real quick, that slap was everywhere as well. That slap was
bigger.
That slap was bigger, and it was
way
everywhere.
Bigger, way more coverage than his show will ever
Absolutely. Get. All over the world. You couldn't go anywhere and not hear about it.
Nope. Couldn't watch damn near anything without them mentioning it.
It was on rotation, heavy rotation.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, especially you guys watching, have you put yourself in Chris Rock's place? Like if you maybe you're a person who can't fight, right? You don't know what it is to fight. You know, you don't know. That's my bro. Hey Jerome, what's up? What's up, Tianis? You don't know what it is to be able to hold your own against somebody. Somebody just come and hit you.
Yeah,
you're supposed to take that, because that's kind of how he hit him. He hit him like, take that. You know what I mean? And adjusted his clothes and went and sat back down.
Yeah, because he's a professional. He's like John Wick.
Yeah. So I don't think a lot of you guys have put yourself in his shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's
Even
somebody
he has a family too. What about his family?
Right, right. You know, his kids going to school or dealing. He's got daughters,
tutors or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, his daughters, they went to private school. Yeah. Your dad got slapped the shit out about from Will Smith. Will Smith slapped the shit out of your dad. That's not embarrassing?
Eric said if he was Chris Rock, he'd double down. He should do another spell. He should do a whole fucking year.
I'd make as much money as I possibly can. He gave him a pass, man. He didn't have to do any jail time because he could have been fine. One of us hitting somebody. Oh man, if you've ever hit anybody, if you've ever been a part of assault and had to deal with the legal ramifications, I've dealt with that. I know what that is. Where you got to show up to court for hitting somebody.
And we're not rich. We don't have favor.
we ain't got attorneys. You ain't got no attorneys. A lot of cats are in prison right now because they had to have a public attorney. Yep. Not because they didn't have the money, but they went with a public defense attorney, and they were told take the deal, which is what most of them do. 5 years off of an assault charge.
Now, they might have deserved it. They might not have.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is,
hitting people.
It comes with an actual consequence.
Definitely.
Not the argument that I was having earlier. You know, you got to deal with the consequences of how people react to your words. Since when? Whenever did that make sense? You don't have to do what do they say? As long as they didn't put their hands on you.
That's right.
Oh, they said, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, did he touch you? No. Get over
it. But you good.
Get over it.
Yeah, you good.
That's what I was always told. You fucking get over it. You call him a bitch too or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Keep stepping.
Whatever. It's everywhere when you look online and on social media. So Will and Jada have seen comments about it. Will apologized to Chris and would like for Chris to let it go, the source added. Will has worked on himself and he is banned by the Oscars for 10 years. He feels like that's enough and wants Chris to move on so that he and everyone else can too. Will is also upset that Netflix was a part of this and thinks Chris insulting Jada again is below the belt. He is upset that Netflix gave Chris this platform to share these messages and thinks it's distasteful. Though the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air actor still has a lot to say since he felt terrible for so long about smacking Chris at the Oscars, he's tried unsuccessfully to make amends in the best way he could with Chris. Throughout his set, Chris teased some jokes alluding to the slap by saying, "Words hurt. Anybody who says the words hurt has never been punched in the face." He ended his set by calling Will Suge Smith a reference to the currently incarcerated Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight, who was sentenced to 28 years in prison in 2018 for manslaughter. Rock was taking out his anger over his wife's entanglement with musician August Alsina, which was discussed on her show. He said, taking out his...
Yeah, he wasn't taking out his anger.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I'll read it again. But Rock was taking out his anger over his wife's entanglement with musician August Alsina, which was discussed on her show Red Table Talk in 2020. She hurt him way more than he hurt me, Rock said. Who'd he hit? Me, a nigga he knew he could beat. That's some bitch-ass shit, he continued. Will Smith is significantly bigger than me. Will Smith does movies with his shirt off. You've never seen me do movies with my shirt off. If I'm in a movie getting open heart surgery, I've got on a sweater, which that was
hilarious.
But Will Smith played Muhammad Ali in a movie. You think I auditioned for that part? I played Pookie in New Jack City. He admitted he was a fan of Will when he was opening for Run DMC, but now I watch Emancipation just to see him get whooped, referencing where Will played Slave Peter during the Emancipation Proclamation era. Another source told people that Will is relying on his family for support. Family is important to him, and Smith leaned on them. And the aftermath of the incident, the source says, it has all helped him look inside and mature. He is better, but still remorseful, the source continued. Will listen to those who tried to help him and feels that he has become a better person. Why is this source anonymous? They probably made this up. Because there's definitely some rhetoric here in this article. God damn, nigga, how long is this motherfucker? They just writing? I don't think I'm gonna read this whole thing.
It's all about Will.
Yeah, it's all about him.
It's all about
we
Will.
Get the point, man. Let's go there. As a result from the slap, the Academy has banned Will for 10 years. It has been a tradition for the winners of previous year to present their awards to their successors for the next year, but he will not have this honor. In an open letter, the Academy announced the board has decided for a period of 10 years from April 8th, 2022, Mr. Smith shall not be permitted to attend any Academy events or programs in person or virtually, including but not limited to the Academy Awards. In the same statement, the Academy apologized to Chris, the rest of the Academy, and the public for the moment. We want to express our deep gratitude to Mr. Rock for maintaining his composure under extraordinary circumstances. We also want to thank our hosts, nominees, presenters, and winners for their poise and grace during our telecast. Will had already resigned from the Academy on April 1st, 2022, issuing a public statement condemning his own actions. My actions at the 94th Academy Awards presentation were shocking, painful, and inexcusable. The list of those I've hurt is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance, and global audiences at home, Smith said at the time. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken. Narcissistic.
Pretty much.
Anyway, I think that about wraps that up.
Yeah.
You got to understand, or you need to understand. Yes, you don't have to. You need to understand how drastic of a decision it is to decide that you're going to do what you want to do to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Words are not actions.
Mm-hmm.
Words are not actions.
That's right.
Someone can stand there and call you a bitch all day.
Mm-hmm. Don't mean shit.
You have the choice. Number one, to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, not to listen. Number three, you could risk jail time.
Mm-hmm.
You could risk that person knowing something that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What if they kill you? Who assaulted who first? What if they're defending themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Because you decided that because they said something, you get to do what you want to do now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see that a lot in these videos where sometimes people go behind the counter and they get their asses beat.
Mm-hmm. Who was the white chick at Waffle House?
Waffle House Wendy. Waffle House
that
Wendy.
Shit was crazy, nigga. I don't know if you didn't see that video, you should go watch it. But nigga, she caught that chair like a fucking John Wick or some shit.
Like it was Captain America's shield, man.
She caught that motherfucker real quick.
With that, we're gonna start talking about the violence that women have been promoting. I would say promoting because
absolutely they're championing it.
They're championing it because they feel that men are no longer worthy of that position of leadership roles.
Well, we're equal, so they get to do everything that they think we're doing. Mm-hmm. They're attempting to emulate us. Mm-hmm. Men are not going around putting themselves in precarious positions that have potential for violence or physicality. That's just not what we do.
Yeah. And it's funny to see that nowadays because the thing is that, you know, we talked about it on previous shows like The Woman King and all these movies where you see women are taking on men 6'5", 290 pounds, just whooping their ass.
Well, think about even more so the sports world for women right now. You know, because at this point we're really addressing the psychology behind this entire thing, and how there's this confusion of between what a man should be and what a woman should be. Right? It's gone so far as now your sports aren't even your own. Your records are not your records anymore. You didn't think about this. Why don't we have transgender males, men, going into UFC, go into boxing, go show up on a football field, go play with them, go be a transitioned nigga or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Got the tape on your titties and all of that. Go do that. Go get into a boxing ring and tell me you're equal. Tell me you match up. Show it. Same thing we brought up about the I'll never freaking remember because I'm probably not gonna look it up. But that situation with the Marines, their that division that they have where they refuse to change the physical requirements. That's where this confusion is leading to of what a man is and what a woman is. We can't answer that question. We can't answer those questions. We don't know what the difference is until somebody gets hurt.
Right.
And now it's time to blame.
It's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. Now it's time to blame the men, or you know what I'm saying? He shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, you see it a lot when the whole equal lefts, deserve equal lefts, deserve equal rights deserve equal lefts type of mindset. And you see that nowadays. What's going on with women just feeling like they can just start wailing on a man. It's not even, back in the day. Let me take you guys back to the understanding of what it was for an insult. Back in the day when cats would insult someone, that is an insult. They would take the white glove and slap the other person. Then it would be a challenge. It was a duel. You had different types of duels. You had
glove off.
Yeah, they take the glove off and they would smack the other person with the glove, and then I will see you tomorrow at sundown or at sunrise at this place. And depending on the era, that duel dealt with a sword or a gun. And these people, the night before, the men, because it was never women dueling. It was never women dueling. It was men.
Right.
The men would have to get their affairs in order.
Yeah.
They would have to make sure their estate was in order. They would say, depending on what happens for the duel,
if it's to the death.
Most duels usually were.
Yeah.
Because there was no other way of resolving it. It was like it was a public insult. It had to be dealt with that way. And so what happened was that they'd have to get their affairs in order, their will, their last testament, how they wanted to be buried. That happened from that time of the challenge, all the way to the point where their last meal.
Who goes home?
Everything. And they would have their liege or their charge with them, who was bearing witness to that. And they were the ones where, depending on how it ended up, they'd be driving the cart home with their body in the back.
Now, I wanna just call to attention the amount of order, structure that was associated with that entire type of altercation. It wasn't a spur of the moment. Nigga, I came out the saloon doors and he had me fucked up. My sarsaparilla wasn't right. Fuck that.
Right.
Nobody was doing that crazy fucking shit. And if they did, they were considered outlaws. And guess what happened?
Yeah, they got
there's a bounty
down
on your fucking head for being that disorderly amongst other humans, among other men and women. You're fucking up the order of our town. You're ruining our ebb and flow. And understand, a bounty on your head, nigga, in those days, they sending Indians after you. They sending a police force after you.
Anybody that
and
could,
any random person, if they felt like fucking,
you was worth
nigga,
it.
I know about your bounty, I'm taking your head off. I just wanted to bring that to you. Y'all, you got to understand
true violence,
the true essence of all of this. What you people are talking about, just reckless violence that you don't even comprehend. What about your children? Because the same thing, when you come up with these rules in your head and this type of disorder in your head, it doesn't only apply to you. If that's something that's going to fly, that means that it could happen to you. It could happen to your loved ones. That means anybody else could decide to do the same thing. So why not have a little, carefulness about yourself. Be thoughtful.
Couth.
A little bit of couth. Absolutely. Have some. We all want to go home. We got people that we love, people that care about
listen,
us.
some people don't. Some people are reckless in their actions, and that's why they're reckless in their actions. A lot of people have unabridged,
call it cognitive dissonance.
cognitive dissonance, you know, and they're, you know, the damage that was happening to them, you know, and they hold on to that. They harbor, they don't, anarchy. They don't have, they have a sense of nihilism, and they don't have dreams or objectives. See, this is what I always tell cats. If you have a dream, if you have an objective in your life, you will not let anything get in the way of it. You won't let anything jeopardize it. It's usually cats that if the girl is offended, that's all they really got. You know what I mean? So you gonna let him talk to me like that? That's my girl.
'Cause that pussy is the most important thing to them.
Yeah. That's my girl. And you don't listen, let me explain something to you. If you ain't married, you don't own that person. They don't own you. Nope. You have no right by law to even do anything to protect them other than if they're being killed. It is your job civilly. That's a
civil right.
It's a civil right
for
to step up. But for anybody, you don't stand there and watch, right? You can only do but so much. But this whole, that's my girl. You don't talk to my girl. You don't look at her that way. You don't have the right if there's no ring on her finger. The law sees, and maybe there's a you know, for most people, because they get very in this space where, you know, you don't own nobody. That woman ain't owned.
But they don't know what that means.
But that's what gay people fought to have. The right to be able to have the legal protection and backup to protect them in regards to legal matters of that extent.
They understood the importance of that.
Boyfriend and boyfriend can't, you know, he hit my boyfriend. No. That's why they fought to get that right. So they can say, well, when he hit my husband's life was in jeopardy. So, you know, it's funny to see people not know. They don't know because they haven't done enough research to realize that legally there are some things that you're more protected for than others. And for somebody to say something to your girlfriend, you don't really have that right legally. Gotta know your stuff, man. Gotta know your stuff.
Well,
it's one of my favorite videos, actually.
This is also one of my favorite. Yeah. Eric, you know, shout out to him once again. He recommended this, which is right on time. What did he say? He said he's gonna watch his wife catch the fade. He's like, why would you even piss off that big motherfucker? You know, and I got a short anecdote. I'm pretty sure I've told it before, but I'll never stop telling it. After we watch the video, I'll bring it. So there's a video of a woman, because we're talking about physicality of men. Because physicality, again, it's not a woman's existence. Women just decided that it made sense for them to enlist, to go be on the front line, to be riflemen or riflewomen, whatever.
Rifle person.
Rifle person, whatever, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Rifle people, you know, they've changed the entire thing. But women just decided that. Yeah, there are a couple of, you know, different female armies in history, but by far and large, this is not something that women have ever wanted to do. Because physicality, not only a huge responsibility, it's a huge reality. It's to the point where there was a law, and I believe it's still in place. The only son can't be drafted.
That's right. That's right.
The only son of any family cannot be drafted.
That's right.
Because that could be the end of their lineage.
Their lineage, yep. That's right. That's still in effect.
Why would a woman sign up for that? Does that even make sense?
No, they lost in the sauce of the feminism.
Right? So we got a video here. I'm gonna pull it up on YouTube. Sorry if you're not, you know, you over on Instagram, you just miss out.
And so we're gonna get into the aspect of, is it manly or masculine to hit a woman?
Sure.
Is it masculine? You know, some of you guys out there don't believe in ever hitting women at all.
Well,
no matter what, doesn't matter.
We'll talk about that. The young lady decided they're in a bar and she just walks up to the dude and she slapped him or whatever. Just decided she was just gonna slap him. And he fucking blasted her and sent her sliding across the barroom floor She ended up under the bar between some dude's legs, I believe. And you could see her sitting there figuring out what right and wrong is.
Pretty much. It's got 51 million views.
Nigga.
188,000 comments. And the person that posted it, T2, is feeling annoyed.
That's a bitch, I believe.
Yeah, T2. She said, how
could she decide that she could go without consequence? Everybody, women, excuse me, want to be equal. Where in her right mind, meaning she should have had discernment, where in her right mind did she decide it's okay for me to just walk up and slap a guy?
Oh yeah, haul off.
To be fair, there's an argument to be made that we didn't see what happened before this.
Well, now you start sounding like Republican white people.
Because I know that there's people that's gonna make this stupid ass argument. What we do know is that she's way over there.
She's not in any physical. Yeah,
he's way over there.
Yeah, she's not in any physical threat at all.
Regardless of what he may have said, I don't see no drink splashed on her. We don't see no spit on her person. She was not physically assaulted. She decided to walk over to him and put her hands on him.
Saunter.
Yeah, it was very, very casual, very nonchalant. She treated him like a bitch ass nigga, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
She threw that test out.
Yeah, fuck you. Please. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna play it real quick, and then we'll get into the discussion of masculinity and femininity. And again, we're searching for what is it? What is a man? Right? So here we go with the video. So, look at the clarity. Clarity. Fucking clarity. She going to order another drink. You know what I'm saying? She damn not even God damn. And oh boy, what did he do? Minded his motherfucking business.
I got nothing to do with it.
Not my business.
He put his hand on his face like,
that's crazy.
Why would you go and do? Because look,
I wouldn't get up and put my hands on that man.
And this is the thing. She threw everything she had in that slap. Now, people are always quick to be like, well, he's a man and she's a woman.
Yeah, she can't hurt him.
I've trained women and I know what I know what they're capable of.
Come on.
I know what they're capable of. And these movies out here got y'all confused, man. Salt.
Eric said that she pondered her life choices.
She did.
After she hit the fucking floor.
And she should have.
She had to straighten up her skirt. As a woman, she had to straighten out her skirt.
And then she forgot she was in Russia. So, they got a total different mindset about, European cultures. Well,
there's still men and women over
there. Yeah, they have but these women are influenced by American women. So
the world is watching us.
They she threw her arms open like she was a dude.
Yeah, what you want to do, nigga?
Flexing.
Great. What you want to do?
She flexing like, yo, what's up?
Imagine, I can't imagine, because I've been a man, right? And this is not to say that men are these dastardly, beings on this planet.
Which feminists believe that.
But as a man, I understand the difference in my physical capabilities and a woman's physical capabilities. Not to say that women are not physically capable. Yes, they can hurt you too.
They got to train.
But if I had the option in the moment as a woman to decide against physicality with a man, against a man, excuse me, I think I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have another drink.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm gonna chill out.
Sure.
Why would I welcome that? Just like if I was a woman, nigga, I'm not finna go enlist. What are we talking about? I might go take some self-defense courses.
Sure.
If I'm a woman.
Absolutely. To protect yourself against those knuckleheads that are out there.
Yeah, I might go get a gun license.
We're never saying that, there aren't bad men. There are bad men.
Yeah, Sure.
You know, this whole toxic masculinity thing we talked about the other night is it's counterintuitive to the truth of what's going on.
Yeah.
But you know, listen, man. Listen, you know, when you see, like, I watched that so many times because, first off, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I love violence. I'm one of those exceptions to the rule. I love violence, and I've been studying long enough to understand violence, which is why I love violence. But I don't permeate it against people who aren't undeserving.
You don't put on your fucking #1 headband.
No.
And walk outside with your sword.
No.
And say, which one of you bitches? What do y'all niggas
Right.
really want to do?
No.
You're not going to the grocery store, fucking approaching people and threatening them and inciting violence.
Again, like I said, I have a dream and I have options and I have obligations and I have objectives of what I want to accomplish. And I know that violence
ruins that.
It's going to ruin it.
Jeopardizes.
It jeopardizes it. You know, I'm telling you, if you ever go through a court case system, man, you know, whether you've ever been sued or whether you've ever assaulted someone,
and don't have a seasoned judge that has discernment.
Or when that cop looked at me and said, "You got 2 more times."
Well, I'm gonna tell this real quick. My first sensei. The #1 thing that he teaches us before he shows you how to bow in, you got to learn his history as a part of Ishinru Karate's history, which is this. 23 years old. He's on television, black belt, you know, 2nd or 3rd degree at this point already because he's been training since he was 14. He's in these you know, title tournaments and all of this. This nigga's all over Black Belt Magazine doing his fucking thing, all over TV. He's in Columbus, Ohio, and someone, you know, he just got done. He just won some tournament. My nigga still in his gi. Him and his lady stop at the gas station to gas up and go back home. They live in Washington. 2 dudes approach him at the gas station and say, "That karate shit? Nigga, please." Fuck that. Insulted him, whatever. Whatever he does to the first nigga. Crushed him. Destroyed him. The second dude, he tells us. He was Robert the Janitor Edwards. Go look him up. He was known for sweeping dudes. Caught that dude, the second dude off balance, swept him, spun around, and stomped on his skull. Luckily, he did not kill him. And he did end up actually in prison with both of them. At some point, they both, the other 2 dudes ended up in prison too. And he taught them self-defense and karate. But stomped on that dude's skull with impunity. You know, some Blackie Chan or Black Dynamite. You know what I'm saying? However, he got to court. Your time is coming. You don't do that and don't nobody find nigga. You on TV? What the fuck you on, nigga? You in magazines? What are you doing? Mr. Edwards, did you do XYZ? Yes, Your Honor. Standing there in cuffs. That one of the baddest niggas at this time. Yes, sir. Well, really not much to talk about, Mr. Edwards. We see you in Black Belt Magazine. We see you on television. I think it's fair to say that you knew what you were doing. You knew better. 10 years, case closed.
Wow.
Now, I don't know exactly how many kids he had at that point, but he had more than 3. More than 3 children at that point. And he missed at least 5 years of their lives. Because of that split-second decision. Nigga said something to me, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Because I can.
Physicality, fuck that. That was an undisciplined man, you know. But that's the first thing you learn. And even when I teach today, that's the first story I tell before we even start. Because you have to understand, physicality is that's the last.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like the rules of engagement, you know, diplomacy is broken down.
The law of armed conflict.
Yep.
You do everything that you can not to have to take a life. not to have to get physical.
With someone. Mm-hmm.
What's the law of armed conflict? You don't know. That's the United States military. LOAC applies, law of armed conflict, LOAC, applies globally. The United Nations recognizes the law of armed conflict. You don't just get to go out here and do what you want to do to people. Much like you don't want them to come and just do what they want to do to you. You have to respect that.
A joke is not, it's not the same as a slap. It's just not. Yeah, let's go to that other article, because that tells us, that segues us into, can women be as violent as men? Brother wrote something. Gender equality meets bank robbery. Gender equality is making strides in most occupations, including violent ones such as the military and police. If violent crime is a job, as Woody Allen referred to bank robbery and take the money and run, can we expect to see gender equality there also? Gender differences in violent crime. As a rule of thumb, men are responsible for over 90% of serious violent crimes, such as assaults, homicides, and violent robberies. Why is there such a large gender gap, and is it likely to persist?
Because a man's existence is physicality. A woman's existence has nearly nothing to do with physicality.
Right.
Statistics just prove that.
Right. One might imagine that lower violent crime rates for women reflects a generally lower level of aggression. Yet marriage researchers observe the opposite pattern. Women are more likely to pick fights with their husbands. They are quicker to escalate verbal aggression and are as likely to use physical aggression as men. There's a point there. There's a serious point there. Despite these counterintuitive findings, men are much more likely to be convicted of domestic violence-related charges. One obvious reason for this is that men are generally larger and stronger and may have more experience with physical aggression, such as that commonly associated with contact sports. Another intriguing difference between men and women in the context of domestic disputes is that men generally become more physiologically aroused in terms of increased blood pressure. If the body's revved up for action, damage and aggression is more likely. Moreover, when it occurs, the aggression is more likely to be extreme, uncontrolled, or disinhibited. Words that are sometimes used to describe the orgy of violence. And Jesus, he went in.
He's hitting it right on the head, man.
Words that are sometimes used to describe the orgy of violence and unusually grisly crimes of violence. In the vast majority of such crimes, the perpetrators are men. Violent crime as male-to-male competition. Physical strength is clearly one risk factor for committing violent crimes, and this helps explain why so many of the perpetrators are men. Indeed, men's greater average upper body strength and height may have evolved as adaptations for fighting strength, although arm strength also contributes to successful hunting of large game that is a male specialization in pre-agriculture societies. Wow. Men make up the great bulk of combatants in warfare. That is another possible reason for the evolution of masculine muscular strength, although this is controversial. Although men are much more likely to perpetrate violent crimes, societies with an excess of women in the population have higher crime rates because there is more extramarital sexuality and greater male-to-male competition over sex partners rather than brides. In the past, female involvement in organized crime was minimal. He went in, and largely due to association with gangster husbands and boyfriends. Wow. All that is changing, and women are beginning to claim a slice of the action as gender equality moves into violent crime as well as high-risk occupations. You see over in Brazil and in Mexico, there are videos of women getting their asses whooped.
Yep.
Bones broken, heads cut off because of them involved in those types of organizations.
Yeah. They're easy targets.
Yeah.
Among men.
Yeah, of course.
Easy targets.
Of course. All that is changing, and women are beginning to claim decisive action as gender equality moves into violent crime as well as other high-risk occupations. Women of the future. Modern women are behaving much more like men when it comes to risk-taking and aggression. One sign of this phenomenon is greater participation in contact sports and dangerous competitions such as horse racing or car racing, according to... Go ahead, brother.
Those are choices.
Right, absolutely.
That's not necessarily the choice that they're making is the phenomenon. The participation is the choice.
Mm-hmm.
You chose as a woman
to do those activities.
I'm just like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. According to the anthropologist Elizabeth Cashden, in societies where women compete more against each other, whether in occupations or over spouses, their levels of stress, hormones, and testosterone increase. In the modern world, there are far more women driving on the roads, and they drive more aggressively and dangerously than ever before. Very true.
Hey, yesterday was National Women's Day or whatever.
International Women's Day,
The memes was definitely hitting.
Yeah.
Had them scrubbed up rims from Altimas and Maximas.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go ahead.
There's a point to that. See, as a result, their accident rates have risen from very low levels, and young women are almost as dangerous on the roads as young men whose aggression and recklessness make driving much more dangerous for everyone else. Small wonder then that women are showing up in previously all-male crimes such as violent bank robbery. Wow. As women have begun to take leadership positions in large corporations, they have also acted as leaders in criminal enterprises. One of the most successful Latin American that's what we just said, drug kingpins was a Colombian woman, Griselda Blanco.
Griselda Blanco.
Oh, is that Blanco?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
the
like an eye.
godmother.
Oh, okay.
Black
Oh,
Widow.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Griselda Blanco, known as La Madrina, who ran an extensive U.S. operation for Miami. She is not the only woman to rise to the top in organized crime.
She's one of the biggest, and I'll tell you off camera.
He did his research, man. That there are female equivalents of Pablo Escobar is intriguing from the perspective of gender differences in violence. Yet there have always been female sociopaths, just fewer of them than males. Such figures certainly challenge gender stereotypes. Yet most involuntarily evolutionary, psychologists would predict that even amongst the restricted population of violent criminals, females will continue to be less extremely violent. The reason is that women remain generally less violent and more at risk adverse than men. The risk aversion is tied to an evolutionary past in which women did most of the child care and avoided violence as a way of staying alive to protect their children. Very important.
And to that, when Genghis Khan is a perfect example, him and his men show up to a city, pillage, destroy these men, take their women, and kill their kids. What did women have to do to survive?
They had to
force themselves to fall in love with these men.
They had to.
Because they didn't want to die. That's hypergamy. It's natural to you. It's in your DNA, biologically.
Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
Because the first rule of this human life is what? Self-preservation.
That theory had already failed in respect to vanishing gender differences in traffic accidents. We should not be too shocked if more women also take up bank robbery and other violent crimes as their job. Now, I picked this article because look at the date.
2015. May 14th, 2015. Wow.
Isn't that wild? And look at where we're at now in 2023.
8 years later. Well, nearly 8 years later. There are a lot of good, or not good, but great points in this article that really just reinforce what it is that I've been saying this entire show. Women, your existence is not physicality. Rarely is that something that feels natural to you. Why partake? How does it benefit you to get involved physically? Not just against one another, but against men.
Right, because what he says in the article is basically in areas where women are literally doing their best to fight over men. That's when they become to that point physical, or they're physical against their spouse, because the thing is they can get away with it. That's pretty much all it is emotionally. They can get away with it. And when you're going back to the beginning of the show, we're talking about Will Smith, you can see how she treats him.
Yeah. I mean, dude, again, nigga, Red Table Talk is
that's trash, man.
Quite the fucking spectacle.
It's trash, yeah.
Especially when she brings him on there.
Mm-hmm.
To do what? What is it? Any I know that there's some women watching. What is it that you could tell us that Will Smith has gained from being on that show with her and discussing their private affairs? What has that done for him?
Right.
In any respect, if any at all. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Right? But then we go back to that, we had another section earlier. Men showing their emotions. Because that's what he's doing on there. He's going, and crying on national TV with his bitch and his kids and all of that kind of shit. That does not show, there's not a woman on this fucking planet primally that will respect that.
Right.
And not begin to disrespect him in different ways, whether that be passive aggressive or straightforward. It doesn't exist because it's a part of you guys' genetic code. It's hypergamy. It's the beginning of it. This nigga, he don't have the ability. This nigga can't procure resources. I'm going over there.
Well, listen, for her to say that Tupac was the love of her life, but that's the point. The point is when you compare, unfortunately, Will Smith to Tupac. Tupac was considered the essence of masculinity in the 90s when he was alive. It's what women, specifically black women, saw as what they wanted in a man. I was dating a girl that said, I think Tupac is sexy. I'm like, that's great. You want to be with him? No, I'm just saying. What are you saying? What are you saying? You want me to behave like Tupac? And I think
want me to spit at the media.
It's sad to see men fall into that rather than holding who they are and saying, "Look, this is who I am."
No, women. We're not going for that.
Yeah, because that whole thing, even with with Michael B. Jordan, for them to call him corny, and it's like, but he built an empire. Like that's not enough. There were women back in the days that would be happy to marry a king in order to do what was best for their kingdom. Now you have all these movies now where you have these little these princesses. Hey, I don't want to marry him. I want love. I want love. Can't I have love?
Nah, fuck that. Fuck legacy. Why do we need legacy? Why do we need to do what makes the most sense to maintain our wealth, our structure, our lineage?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I need he has to hold my hand and cuddle me and whatever stupid shit women are looking for, because it is stupid.
But when they get it, they don't want it anymore.
Oh, that's what I'm about to say. Because it doesn't contribute to your survival.
Right.
So when you're with the guy that's stroking your head ever so gently, there comes a point where you lose respect for him. I haven't met a woman yet, romantically, socially, professionally, in my own family, where when you're too nice, treat them like delicate flowers. Treat them how you see in Disney movies and all of this crazy shit that they're requesting that is so far removed from what a man actually is. My focus as a man is resources, protection, security, whether that, security financially and socially. That's my focus as a man, is to bring that to you and allow you to multiply it. So when you get a guy who he's not completely focused on that because he's pampering you, rubbing your feet and
Mm-hmm.
clipping your toenails and doing your hair. You know what I'm saying? Keeping house and all of this shit. He loses his existence as a man
Mm-hmm.
in your psyche. And now you have no respect for him.
Well,
You bring turmoil.
let's go back to history.
Yeah.
A man would go out and hunt.
Mm-hmm.
They get the deer, they'd bring the deer in, and the women would clean it, cook it,
Mm-hmm.
use everything else for what it's needed, the hides and stuff. Imagine if that man came back and just said, I got it. What was her purpose? She wasn't out there hunting.
They would have started doing wildlife music videos.
Well,
You know what I'm
listen.
saying?
I mean, I know we joking, but I'm keeping it real. You know, because there's a purpose and there's a usage for people in regards to what they got going on. If I've been trained to know to go out and hunt, right? Since I'm a little boy, and my job was to get it, bring it, and let the woman do what she was going to do. If one day I decided, you know what, I don't need you to do it, I'm going to do it, then what's her purpose? For her to go and hunt? She got to go up in the mountains or in the woods with how her body is. Because, you know,
Nice.
yeah.
She got to be female Rambo.
Yeah. Well, first off, you know, genetically speaking,
Yeah.
it wasn't until just recently in this century that, you know, I mean, they've been doing it for a while in Thailand, but, you know, transgender wasn't possible.
No.
You know,
these people of the past were not confused on what men and women
if,
were.
if you, back in the day in the past, if you cut your tallywhacker off, you were a eunuch.
Yeah.
And your job was to serve the temple or maybe serve the queen.
I was about to say, you were of no
Physical.
reasonable use.
Yeah, physical use
women.
at all. Or even to any act of war. Because once you cut off your appendage, you affected your testosterone and estrogen built up and took over.
And now you are putting at jeopardy our entire army.
Absolutely. So we don't need you. That was that. When it came to women who maybe dressed like men and stuff like that, they still physically weren't as that of a man.
They were discovered at some point.
They couldn't take testosterone shots to build up. You know, they just looked like little boys. You know, the whole story of Milan. That's what that was. That the mythological story of Milan. You know, she was, you know, dressed up in men's clothes. You know, a lot of women did that in order to get around and to, you know, not be raped or not to have to you know, succumb to the norms.
Yeah.
Because maybe they got raided, so they would just look like a man to be able to get to someplace else.
Eric said, "Don't worry, my queen. All my gas money will go to your OnlyFans." You know what I'm saying? But
hell, if I was a chick right now, I'd be on OnlyFans.
yeah, nigga, listen. Like I said, I bet you if I was a woman, I wouldn't enlist. Not in that army. But yeah, no. You know, that entire reality for a woman in this world that I guess we've both sort of created, because men are catering.
They allowed it.
Women,
yeah.
men are
and supporting it.
women.
Yeah, they're supporting it now. Mm-hmm.
And it is our fault.
Mm-hmm.
It is our fault. At the base of it all, and I want to focus on that to say this: if we allowed it, because women didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
All feminists and womanists, all of that, whatever your different sex are, SECTS, you didn't do it. You didn't force it.
Mm-hmm.
Men allowed it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not some, you know, checkmate so as to say that your value is not what it is, but you've dismissed your actual value.
Mm-hmm.
You've traded your actual value due and be a part of something that as a whole really is not benefiting you. It's not benefiting your children. It's not benefiting the family structure. It's not benefiting the future of the human race, which is what men and women are here to do. That's our purpose.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the modern world, in the modern societies, man, it's become more me oriented.
Yeah.
People don't look at community anymore. A lot of the times when I'm having conversation with these guys, I'm like, "What are you doing for your community?" You know what I mean? What you mean, old head? What you mean for the community? Yeah, what are you doing for your community? What are you doing to build? Because when you're young, you don't think about, okay, one day I'm going to have children. Cats may want that, but they don't understand what happens when they actually get to that place, you see. And they don't understand what someone is telling them because they can't see it in that moment, you see. It's kind of like rappers that always said, be this and be that and bitch this and no, 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 no. And then when they have a little girl, they were like, I'm not saying the bitch word no more. Damage is already done. The damage is
People
already
perish for
done.
lack of knowledge.
That's right. The damage
Now,
is
we're not
already
saying
done.
you shouldn't have growth, but whatever stops you from having discernment,
Mm-hmm.
from exploring something and say, will this affect my future?
Mm-hmm.
Will this affect anything that I have in mind? Like you said earlier, I have these different dreams and goals, and I attribute that to some sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have those things, then I have to say or ask myself the question, what is it that will jeopardize me obtaining or reaching these goals, these milestones, achieving them? Disorder. Something like the rappers, I don't know if Nelly has a daughter, but nigga, he definitely had the tip drill video
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows about.
Mm-hmm.
What is her name? Fucking Kim Kardashian. Having her daughter involved
Yeah,
with TikToks and
I
shit
just
right
saw
now
that.
with
Yeah.
with Ice Spice, and
Mhm.
Ice Spice got her ass all in the TikTok with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Kim Kardashian and her daughters.
Or how about Beyonce? Have you seen that?
Yeah,
new
I
one?
seen that silly shit.
Wow.
That bitch is in her 50s or 40s,
She's
close
in
to
her,
her 50s.
her 40s. She's in her 40s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You have two daughters.
And not only that, you have the ears and the eyes of the people watching, the girls that are watching. You know it.
Even if you're keeping that, because they're rich, they have the ability to keep their to keep their children from those things. But what about when they get older?
Mm-hmm.
That's the stamp and the blemish that is completely avoidable.
Mm-hmm.
But you're accepting that being a part of your legacy. You're accepting your children at some point having to deal with that. Just a little bit of discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing stops anyone from asking themselves the question, how will this affect me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I sure? Let me seek counsel with others, my elders, maybe even some of my peers who are a little bit further along than me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask other people who've already done this.
Well,
Tell me something about that.
Part of the problem is, like, we always talk about how they're raised, how they're brought up, single parent households.
Everybody's independent.
Yeah.
I'm figuring this out by myself.
Yeah, we're just hustling.
If you listen to any of the wealthiest people in the world, one of the most common things, or one of the main commonalities between the advice that they all give, none of them did it alone.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as independence. Independence is an illusion. No person builds an empire alone.
That's right.
No one person makes it alone.
That's right.
There must be network. Mm-hmm. There must be community.
Mm-hmm.
There must be corroboration. There must be cooperation. Other humans.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that there is some sense of respect,
mm-hmm.
some sense of order, some sense of discipline, some sense of structure associated with that entire network of people. And when you're constantly preaching to yourself, on my own back, the entire world, I figured it out, just me.
Me against the world.
Me against the world. Think about what it is that you're preaching to yourself and the people under you, your children, your nieces, nephews, even some of your peers that maybe they look up to you. That's what you're teaching them. And you haven't thought about that being your legacy. Because at some point, we all get to a particular age where now we have to assess resentment. We have to assess regret. Just think about it. Take your time, slow down, ask yourself these questions. You don't live forever, but the mistakes that you made, especially if you have children, if you have close friends who follow you in real life, not on social media, they follow your example. And that's your legacy.
And it's okay to admit that you're wrong at times.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned that, you learn from admitting your mistakes. And one of the things I always tell brothers when I give my opinion about things is that a man fixes his mistakes, because as a human being, you're going to make mistakes. A man prides himself in saying, okay, well, I'm going to fix this mistake, you know? And that's something that I think people have to understand, is like we all make mistakes, you know? And people have to realize that.
You know, we're not preaching perfection. We're preaching discernment. And that, what comes along with discernment is saying, was I right? Was I wrong?
Well, you know, listen, man.
Can I fix that? Does it need to be fixed?
The wisest king that ever lived, King Solomon, God asked him, if you can have anything, what is it that you want? He says, I want more wisdom. I want more wisdom so that I know the right thing to do, you know? And God gave him that and then gave him even more abundance. Because wisdom is a key that people who are discerning use. They use that wisdom. And then in the higher levels, understanding, you know, that makes it all well, because then you're like, okay, well, here it is. This person just said something to me. Me, I know as a 39-year martial art veteran what I'm capable of doing. Am I so off balance in this moment because this person says something verbally to me to where I got to fly off the handle and hurt this person, where I may end up terminating them? You know what I mean?
Where everything you've created
is gone because of that one moment. Yeah.
No longer in your hands.
Yeah. That's not really a man attribute.
No, it is not.
You know? And so let's sum it up, man. We're almost closing out. Yeah. What is a man? What is a man?
I'll tell you what I know a man to be, because, like I said at the start of this short series, God damn it. I was raised by, God damn, my bad.
It's okay.
I was raised by a man. By a man, I was taught what it means to be a man, charged with the responsibilities of protecting, cherishing, and valuing life, my resources, the people who need my resources, that I've done all of these things for. That's my responsibility. And I was charged with that as a child. I remember, you know, my dad had messed up a little bit, and he got out and came home, and he had to go to the store he's fixing shit around the house. He just got home, you know. And me, my two little sisters, and my mom, and I'll never forget this, for many reasons it sat on my heart, and to this day, it means something to me. He said, I gotta go and I'm picking up this, and this, and this, and when I get back, the This is what we're gonna do. I need you to look out. I'm 4 or 5 years old. There was nothing I could do to protect my mom and my sisters.
But he charged
That's
you.
where it started.
He charged you.
He charged me. I need you to look out for your mom and your sisters. I'll be back in a moment. When I get back, show me that everything was okay. And then we'll go on with the job that we're gonna do, which I believe it was something was wrong with the water heater or whatever. Now I fell asleep. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there, I'm sitting there on the couch, one of them 90s couches with the, you know what that shit looked like, the black and red and yellow and all of that. But I'm sitting there and I'm wrapped up in my cover and I'm watching the front door, watching the front window, and I fell asleep. And he got back home, found me sleep behind the couch. I'm weird. I like to sleep behind the couch and shit. And he said, "It's all right. We're gonna try it again."
Man fixes his mistakes.
That's what a man is, and it means something. There is no question about it. There's no ambiguity. There's no confusion. It's not curious. That which a man is. It's quite simple and it's pretty straightforward. Protect those that you love and show them that you're worth loving. Not prove it to them. Show them.
Right. Because
Through action.
I think that's what. Listen, I think, and we talk about mental. I don't think Will Smith even still got any mental help because he's still doing the same thing he was doing prior to it.
I'm sorry, baby. I'll come back on Red Table Talk and shit, and
which should have been dissolved.
Same.
It should have been dissolved. So for him to say, what he said was painful and this and that, no, he spoke the truth. He spoke the truth about your relationship that you put out
to the public. You shared your private affairs.
You spoke about it. He's calling the truth on that. You slapped me, but you allow August to do what he did, and you ain't call nobody to the charge of what they did.
Nobody else a bitch. You ain't hit nobody else.
Nothing. But August came out with a book talking about how he got your wife. And how your wife took advantage of him.
Saying.
But a simple joke pissed you off to the point where you got up in the middle of one of the biggest events of the year. Shout out to millions of people. You got up on stage, slapped this man, sat down, and then cussed him out.
One of the most revered, highest paid, decorated, prestiged actors of all time. He's got to be in his 50s now.
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
And for the next 10 years, 9 years now, you can't even be awarded for the fruits of your labor. Or excuse me, you will not receive, acknowledgement for your labor if you continue to make movies and such, participate in this career field.
Which he will, because he's listen,
this
man.
Is what he's done his whole life.
Yeah, making movies and being in front of the camera for him,
but no accolades.
Right.
Because you weren't charged with being a man in that moment. That's what you did to yourself. You.
And then went on to blame everybody else.
And it's still blaming everybody.
Yeah, still blaming it.
I said sorry. What do y'all want from me? My bitch still loves Tupac. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
No way he still has mental health. But back on key. To me, that's what a man is.
Yeah. Everything you said and then some, man. I hope all of you guys who are out there listening learned something tonight or, gave it some thought, because I know a lot of people are still going to do what they do.
Absolutely.
It takes a long time to unprogram yourself from how you've been programmed. Maybe you are a product of a single parent household and you take on a lot of the qualities and thoughts of your family and how you thought it was to be a man. And some of you went out into the world and you realized that it wasn't everything you thought it was going to be. You know, maybe some of you had great mentors that helped you. I was fortunate. I had great mentors. I didn't have a dad. My dad died 2 months before I was born, so I don't know what it is to have a dad.
Yeah.
Can't miss something you ain't never had. That's what I always say. People's like, you didn't have a dad? Can't miss something you ain't never had. But
That was never supposed to stop the show.
at all, because I had dreams. I had objectives. I had plans. And I think that's really what helps a man, because I always look at it as kingship, right? When you're born in a family, a royal family, you know very early on you're a prince.
Well, you know what it is that you have to live up to.
And you're equipped to prepare yourself for that ascension to the throne. And so when you get you brothers out there always talking about something, I'm a king, I'm a king. Well, did you take the steps to be a king? Did you equip yourself to be a king? Do you know those things that, a king would
understand what a king is charged with?
Yeah, princes had a man at arms. They had a philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
They had a historian. They had a religious person, whether they believed or not in what the religion of that culture was. They had to understand it so that they can deal with people who were that, And then they had someone teaching them about hunting, someone teaching them about equestrian, someone teaching them about the warfare and the history of the city of the country. They were equipped to be kings. How many of you out here listening right now can even pick up a book
counsel,
or even pick up a book to understand who you are as a black man?
Who has charged you with that?
Man.
And if you haven't been charged, understand that you can charge yourself.
There you go. There you go. The knowledge is out there.
It is there. It's available. Y'all have phones, unlimited access to the internet these days.
King Arthur
libraries are not packed.
King Arthur didn't know he was a king until he pulled the sword from the stone. And you always say it's something that is always an incident that helps men to know.
I'll end it on that. So, my sensei's sensei, Mr. Steve Armstrong.
A legend.
Yes, he is. One of the first four men who brought Isshinryu karate to the United States. So, when my sensei ended up in prison, because Steve Armstrong picked him up when he was 14 years old. And at 23, he got in that trouble. But Steve Armstrong picked him up at 14. He's like, man, this kid has something. And then when he was 17, Mr. Armstrong went to my sensei's parents and said, man, I want to take him to New York and put him on the fight circuit. For the entire time that my sensei was in prison, Mr. Armstrong, every single weekend that he was in prison, went up to go visit him and sat with him and talked to him. And he kept asking him, why are you here? Why do you keep coming? He said, because I knew what you were, and I didn't tell you what you were. I didn't teach you that part of it. I knew what you were capable of, and I didn't tell you that you were. That was my responsibility as your sensei. As a man in your life who brought you into this world, I didn't help you understand what you were capable of. That could have changed the trajectory of your entire future. I affected your children's lives. I affected your wife's life. So I'll be here every day. Excuse me, every weekend. It would make sense to every day, but he charged himself with that. And that's powerful. That relationship that they had as men. And I'm giving that story every opportunity that I get, young men especially. Because we have to understand, it's not easy. And it's not something that we just go without. You have to, at the very least, start asking yourself those questions. Because it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
It is never too late. So.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
One of the greatest men I know.
Same here on my right side, brother.
Happy 50th.
Happy 50th, no doubt. Look at that. See? Yeah, guys. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Have an amazing weekend.
Muscles on his lonely back. I stay calm and fat. I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your mechanic. I don't want no parts of wax.
Three things
Throwing darts and wax.
that a man has to experience
Got a birthday.
to get himself
I just
together.
make it special. If you came to
It's
wrestle,
either gonna be
maybe
prison,
we can do that. Chapman, bring the
military,
doses and show you where your shoes at.
or the
Exactly
streets.
where the proof at. I ain't gotta prove stats. I
said,
don't need
I'm
to
adding
hook
one
up.
to
I've been
it.
staying blue
Because
black.
I didn't
Straight
wanna
from
see
where
you
the
do
news
that.
at. Life size
Give you martial
showdown.
arts.
Story I
Teach you
survived.
discipline.
Yeah.
Made them live remote
He forgot
stand.
that one
Paint me
thing,
what I
that's
wrote now.
how he
I
ended up
imagine
where he ended up.
I'ma grow the canvas. Every stroke is passion.
Yeah,
Ask
I'm
him
a
why he
firm believer
smashing
in
shit.
Yeah, well, I agree. Because
You gotta get your discipline
my mom was very much against the military and, single mom,
Please stop the
But I got
BS
mine from the
for real,
martial
it's on
arts.
purpose, for real.
Whereas I stayed in, my brothers didn't.
You see,
I do this for real.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
can't make it up.
Please stop the BS.